War of Rights has finally released Update 200, and alongside of that has given us the opportunity to play Cavalry. This video intends to serve as a tutorial video to show you everything you need to know in order to play with Cavalry in War of Rights. If you are interested in Update 200 and the patch notes that are pertaining to that, please check out the pinned comment and the description of the video for the link of me going over the patch notes as they gave them to us, on top of the Steam link to the official patch notes that the developers have put out. On top of this, if you are interested in anything else that is related to War of Rights, infantry, how game modes work, artillery, and such, please check out the pinned comment in the description as well for the War of Rights official 2026 tutorial video that we released about a month ago as of posting this video. With that being said, here's your tutorial, and I'm glad to be here with you all when this update has finally dropped. A lot of the maps we've seen in War of Rights have dismounted cavalry. Those maps, such as Prygrist Mill, now have the option of mounted cavalry. On top of this, many of the drill camp maps and a lot of the conquest maps, if not all of them, have the option of cavalry as well. When you first join a server and are on a map that has cavalry as an option, you must first choose a team. From there, you can join the cavalry regiment. Once you have joined the cavalry regiment, you can select one of 5 roles, the most common being the private. This is the common cavalryman that will follow the orders of the officers and NCOs in charge. Next, you have the bugler, which can play tunes to the men, although not useful in terms of a game aspect, as it does not provide any bonuses to the men around him. Next, you have the flag bearer, which can act as a mobile respawn unit for the cavalry regiment. Something to note is that if you are the flag bearer of the Cav regiment and you end up dying, you will be removed from the cavalry company and will have to spawn in either on infantry or artillery. Next, you have the non-commissioned officer, or NCO, who will relay the orders of the officer, including taking over the company if the officer happens to fall in battle. And lastly, you have the officer, who leads the cavalrymen around the field, giving up commands. You must listen to the officer at all costs. Once you have chosen a role, you can choose to spawn in at one of 3 locations, with each spawn point operating differently. The first option is the infantry deployment, which will spawn you in a wave of soldiers every 20 seconds. You can spawn in here with other infantrymen and artillerymen. Everyone in the game has this option. Next, you can spawn in on the flag deployment. There are many cases where you can, but also cannot spawn in on the flag deployment. If the flag bearer is either in skirmishing or the information status, then they will be able to spawn in someone every X amount of seconds in a Q wave. If the flag bearer is in formation, then he will spawn someone in every 5 seconds, and if the flag bearer is in skirmishing, he will spawn someone in every 10 seconds. It does not matter if the horseman is mounted or not. And as mentioned, there are a few instances where you cannot spawn in at the flag deployment. If the flag bearer is not deployed, aka in the battle actually spawned in, if the flag bearer is shot and killed, resulting in the flag being dropped on the ground, if the flag bearer is out of line, regardless of if mounted or not. Something to note though, normally if you're out of line with the flag bearer as an infantryman, you will have a certain number of seconds before the game will insta-kill you. However, if you are mounted on your horse and in bounds while out of line as the flag bearer, then you will not be considered out of line. Once you get off your horse though, you will be out of line. Something important to note is that if you decide to spawn in on infantry or flag deployment, you will not spawn in the game with a horse. The last option is the mounted deployment. This option will put you in a spawn wave of, unlike 20 seconds with the infantry deployment, you will be in a spawn wave of 2 minutes long. After the 2 minutes is up, you and everyone else in the spawn wave will spawn in and be mounted on your horse and ready to go into battle. When you finally get a horse, you will need to know a few basic controls in order to operate your horse successfully. First, the movement speed. You can increase your horse's speed by tapping the W key. Inversely, you can decrease your horse's speed by tapping the S key. Your horse will have 5 different movement statuses. First, it will have at rest, then walk, trot, canter, and last but not least, you have gallop. Regardless of what your movement status is, you can turn your horse to the left by holding the A key and turn your horse to the right by holding the D key. When you want to try and jump with your horse, you hit the space bar. Now, it is important to note that it is very easy to die in this game by running your horse into a snake fence after failing to jump. In order to avoid this, please do not try to hop over fences at the gallop. Instead, try to go at the canter. Some other controls that you can have with the horse is hit the H key to holster all your weapons and use both hands on the rein of the horse. On top of this, you can hold down left shift to oversteer your horse. You can hold left control to strafe and reverse your horse. You can hit F to either mount or dismount your horse. Hitting C will put you in parade mode and more align your horse with the speed of the infantry around you. Lastly, holding down the P button while at rest will allow you to rear your horse. And stuff more commonly known is that as a cavalryman, you have 3 weapon choices. You have your primary, your secondary, and your tertiary. As a cavalry private, you will have a sharps rifle as your primary, your sword as your secondary, and your pistol as your tertiary. For cavalry officers, you will have your sword as your primary, your pistol as your secondary, and your binoculars as your tertiary. Something important to note as it regards to swords: when you spawn in the game or you switch to your sword option, your sword is automatically in melee mode. That is the only option you can have as a sword. So if you start spamming left click, you will start swinging and killing right away. And what makes this even extra harmful is while you are on a horse and you swing and hit someone with your sword, instead of what it would normally take to kill someone, which is 2 stabs, it only takes 1 stab to kill. While these basic controls are very helpful for understanding how to actually play with cavalry in the game, there are also some tips and tricks that I have experienced while playing horses in the play test. Firstly, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, do not try to hop over a fence at the gallop. Instead, try to hop over it at the canter instead. More than likely, your horse is going to die trying to run into a snake fence if you're going at the gallop. This also means that when you're going into a wooded area, slow your horse down. You're going to hit a small tree, you're going to die, you're going to be mad and have to wait in the respawn wave for a whole 2 minutes because you hit a tiny tree going at the gallop. Slow down, follow the speed limit, and you'll be fine. Horses are big objects as well, or creatures I should say. They're not objects, they're people too. Hold up. Anyways, horses can run over people, both friends and foe. So unless you don't care about your friendlies, watch out when you're driving on the road. Also, if you are not and you are a pedestrian in this battle, watch out around you. Make sure the horses don't run over you. Unless you're the enemy, then, get knocked over, buddy. And because I ran over some of them, they asked to kill me. Sure. Alright, feel free. Free, shoot. And speaking of killing, it takes 1 headshot in order to kill a horse. Alternatively, it takes 3 body shots to kill a horse. And if you don't like shooting a horse, you can instead stab it twice to kill it. Now, depending on the speed of your horse, you will either be thrown off and die as a result, or your horse will just get knocked over and you can get right back up. In the character customization in the main menu, you can go to the stables option and be able to customize your horse in a variety of ways. Outside of cavalry, if you are either an infantry or an artillery officer, you will have a new spawn choice to be able to spawn in on the mounted deployment. If you choose this main spawn, you will spawn in a 20-second spawn wave with all the other soldiers at the main infantry deployment. Except, instead of not having a horse, you will now have a horse for choosing the mounted deployment spawn. That being said, you will still have the original options of infantry deployment if you're an infantry officer, and infantry deployment and battery deployment for an artillery officer, which both of those options will spawn you in the game without a horse. And you can kind of see how you can cheese the game a little bit. While not really practical in a lot of cases, this could be used. Normally, cavalrymen have a 2-minute spawn window wave, as we described earlier in the video. However, artillery and infantry officers can spawn in a new horse every 20 seconds at their main deployment. So if you're an infantry and artillery officer, you could spawn in at infantry deployment with the horse, F9 to respawn, and then spawn back in 20 seconds later and instantly have a new horse at your main spawn. And it's not like your old horse disappears either, unless it decides to randomly run off and go away. Therefore, if you are a Cav player and you don't want to wait for 2 minutes for a new spawn wave of horses, you could spawn an infantry deployment and take one of these horses that the officers originally had before F9ing and then respawning to get a new horse. You can kind of see me doing it on screen, a little cheesing, but you know, it's there. If you see an unoccupied horse on the battlefield, you can hop on it. It doesn't matter if it's friendly or foe, and you can see this is best described in the broadcast I had the other night. Confederates, actually, I want to see. It looks like, okay, so yeah, if you can comp on any horse, it doesn't matter if it's friendly or not. You'll note the Union Cav, they have kind of the blue mat underneath their mount, whereas the Confederates have kind of a gray one, so you can differentiate. Wow, he just murdered that man. If you're interested in practicing cavalry, consider going to the drill camp, spawning in as a horseman, and practice to your heart's content. On top of everything mentioned in this video so far that is currently in the game, the developers have talked about things that they want to introduce in the future for horses, such as horses being able to pull cannons, limbers, and supply wagons, the ability to tether horses to fences and stakes, lead horses on foot by the reins, swimming, and add more customization to horses and saddles. And with that being said, that is what we see as horses currently in War of Rights as of posting this video a day or two after the update has actually dropped. Now, of course, metas will definitely change as a result of horses. We will learn many things regarding the horses. The developers will change and improve things about horses as well that might not make everything in this video entirely accurate even a couple days after this is posted. But nonetheless, I hope that you are able to hit the ground running when you eventually are able to play horses in War of Rights, and I hope you were able to learn a thing or two. Anyways, please give comments, feedback, and suggestion, talk about horses, play horses, and do so much more. So, thank you all, God bless, we'll see you all in the next one, have a wonderful rest of your night.